With Kyrie back on the court with the Brooklyn Nets, it looks like he's managed to survive his last controversy. All he lost in the process was his Nike sponsorship and whatever money he had to give away in donations. Kyrie may have a motor mouth, but the guy can really rebound from his controversies. In today's video, we're going to look back on some of the craziest things the Nets star has ever said. We have to start with his most recent controversy. On an otherwise normal day in October of last year, Kyrie tweeted out an Amazon link to a documentary. But it wasn't a nature documentary or anything fun like that. This was a conspiracy theory screed full of anti-Semitism and with a touch of neo. This naturally brought a lot on Kyrie, who was approached by the Nets management and Adam Silver himself, hoping to get him to reverse the damage. Well, Kyrie deleted the tweet. He said a lot of weird things to avoid taking responsibility for the tweet. Some of the highlights were his insistence that history shouldn't be hidden, and that he doesn't need to stand down on his beliefs because he has an army around him. His defining statement during the debacle was that he couldn't be racist for knowing where he came from. Kyrie said a lot of things, but the one thing he didn't say was sorry. As a result, he was briefly suspended from the NBA, and like we said, Nike cut him off. And believe us when we say that this might be the worst thing he's said and done, but the list has only started. Up next, we have the roller coaster he put the Boston Celtics and its fans through. Though he might be a little radioactive now, Kyrie used to be one of the hottest commodities in the league. He was one of the prized players of the Boston Celtics, and in 2018, he was looking to leverage his value into a more lucrative contract. Now, trade negotiations between teams and players are a part of the sport at this point, but Kyrie isn't the most diplomatic person, as we saw during this trading period. At a Celtics event for season ticket holders, Kyrie addressed the fans and gave them news they weren't expecting to hear. He'd be signing a max contract with the team in 2019. In other words, Kyrie just announced he was signing his biggest contract yet, and that too amid rumors that he wasn't too happy with the Celtics. That was exciting for the fans, but it definitely meant Kyrie wasn't going to get any better offers later on. Well, at least this is one of those Kyrie moments that only affected Kyrie himself. And hey, maybe the guy really didn't want to leave the Celtics at the time, and he just wanted his fans to know. Now, another one of his funnier moments was his insisting that he wants a new Grease movie. In a deep dive interview with NBA.com, Kyrie talked about his love of old school musicals. He pointed out West Side Story and Grease as particular favorites of his, and then went on to say that there should be a new Grease. Why should Hollywood remake Grease? Well, because the old one has dated graphics. Okay, this rankled some folks on the internet, some of whom were fans of Grease and others weren't. The fans of the movie said that the original is a classic, and Hollywood isn't going to get anywhere by remaking it. Haters of the movie argued that the plot hasn't aged well, and it'd be a bad idea to update the story and the setting. Netizens can say whatever they want. One of Kyrie's favorites has been remade already, and it was even nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. With the way Hollywood is going, a Grease remake isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We'll move on from that to one of Kyrie's less amusing blow-ups. It's not exactly news that Kyrie Irving has an ego. He's long considered himself to be the best baller in the history of the game, regardless of what team he's on. That's why he's had a number of instances of throwing his teammates under the bus for their losses. But we're going to look at one of his more notorious tantrums today. At the Celtics practice facility in Waltham, Kyrie lashed out at his teammates for a game that the squad had lost 2 days earlier. This was their January 12th game against the Orlando Magic in 2019, and the Magic had snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, closing the game with a score of 105 to the Celtics 103. Kyrie really laid into the younger players on the team, complaining that they didn't have what it takes to win championships. Kyrie apologized for the comments later, saying that he'd never call out his teammates in public again. He had to for PR, but if we're being honest, no one actually believed that Kyrie would stop doing that. Now, Kyrie was a lot more brazen about this during his time with the Cavaliers. It feels like forever since Kyrie was playing in the Cavaliers as their point guard. Despite being the younger player on the team, Kyrie already had a lot of self-confidence, to put it mildly. He was playing in the point guard spot, and he was more than happy to command the majority of the attention that the Cavaliers were getting. This led to an exchange between Irving and coach Ty Lue in February February 2017, he begged Kyrie to play faster and bring the ball up to the box quicker, which would allow the team to fire off more shots. This confused the point guard because he could take his shots whenever he wanted. This led Lue to clarify that he meant shots for his teammates rather than himself. To this, Irving protested that this was number 23's job. He wasn't happy about number 23 playing as a point forward, a cross between the forward role and the role of a point guard. Unfortunately for Kyrie, dissing number 23 wasn't the best idea, because 23 was none other than LeBron the King James. Will Kyrie ever get to talk smack about LeBron? We'll have to see, but he definitely wasn't at that point back then. Let's look back on a weird episode from a past relationship. Back in the mid-2010s, Kyrie was in a relationship with R&B singer Kehlani, but that relationship came to an end in 2016. Now this story gets off to a positive start. The news was revealed through paparazzi shots of Kehlani with rapper Party Next Door. Those pictures drew some backlash to Kehlani, who was accused of cheating on Kyrie. The ex-boyfriend took to social media to let the world know that his relationship with Kehlani had been over for a bit, so no cheating took place. Now, after everything you've seen in this video, you won't be surprised to learn that Kyrie gave himself a pat on the back for standing by his ex-girlfriend. In a red carpet interview at the MTV Movie and TV Awards, Kyrie was asked about the aftermath of that relationship. The question sent him off on a weird tangent, finding a balance, both in his professional life and his personal life, and wanting to be known as a generational leader in basketball and the world. We can get behind that, Kyrie, but some of the stuff you've been saying is stuff that people really shouldn't be following. We'll end the video with two of his other greatest hits, starting off with his flat eartherism. The flat earth movement is one of those things that can only happen thanks to the internet connecting people who shouldn't be connected. And the absurdity of the flat earth movement unfortunately made it really appealing to Kyrie Irving, who has forced the NBA to deal with the fact that one of its players just doesn't believe in the shape of the planet. In relation to that movement, Kyrie has said a couple of crazy things. He's encouraged people to do their own research into the topic and see for themselves the untruth that Kyrie has seen. There was a time when Kyrie, who might have received a talking to from the Nets management, tried to disavow the movement and claimed that he was joking about his beliefs. As of 2018 though, Kyrie was full steam ahead towards the edge of the planet, arguing that he doesn't know that the Earth is round and that the educational system is flawed. That seems to be where he's at with Flat Earth. He apologized for saying the Earth is flat, but the poor guy can't bring himself to concede that the Earth is round. Of course, when 2019 came along, it gave Kyrie a whole new conspiracy to fall head over heels for. Finally, we're capping the video off with his anti-vaccine statements. Just like his flat eartherism isn't a great surprise, so too is his belief that the COVID-19 vaccine is bad news. While the NBA was trying to get their games going again, Kyrie's refusal to get the COVID jab became a bit of a problem for the team, and the optics of his behavior hurt the NBA as a whole. You see, New York had a vaccine mandate for entertainers and athletes to be vaccinated before entering a venue, which kept Kyrie off the court a whole bunch that season. To justify his stance, Kyrie has echoed claims that secret societies are administering vaccines to black people in order to connect them to a master computer for some satanic scheme. If you're feeling like someone just threw a basketball at your head, we can relate. In the locker room, Kyrie was reportedly spreading these theories, and while they didn't buy it, they were definitely afraid of catching a case of the Kyrie Irvings. Later on, Kyrie stated that he wasn't the one lying, rather he was tired of being lied to his whole life. We really wish Kyrie weren't so vulnerable to crack conspiracy theories. It'd make his life easier, and it'd do the same for his fans. This was just the first of his crazy moments that was actually dangerous to people as a whole. Rewind to the start of the video for the other one. That's it for today's video. Why don't you share some more of Kyrie Irving's lowlights in the comments section below? And we'd also like to hear from people who are still rooting for him in spite of everything. But whatever you do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or else your vaccine microchip will explode.